No.
Oh.
That was pure at Harvard research on crystal deformation on pure silver. Now I took two silver crystals with machine, incredible, and one next to the other, and I devised this idea in a carbon crucible, which the machinist did within a few mils. That's a thousandth of an inch. What happened? The expansion of the silver is bigger. The graphite doesn't move, so it would compress them and by diffusion join them. Okay. And I forgot several times that graphite, it looks black. It was at 1,000 degrees centigrade.
A little bit hot.
The number of times when I
Touched it.
Ow!
because for me,
boy.
black is not.
So what did they do with that like idea? Whatever came
Oh,
of it.
I explained the deformation of any metal because the metal is polycrystalline, which means all these little grains have different orientation. And I showed, depending on the orientation of the two grains, it develops plasticity more strength than others.
So, but I mean, like, okay. So in layman's terms, what does that mean? Like, what does it use? Like, what?
Okay.
How does that apply to life?
Listen,
or like
99% of what I did,
Yeah.
even 99.99, had no application because I dealt with understanding.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So that application didn't apply to like anything.
No.
That they're using it.
The only thing, okay,
Like that's
as you are interested, the only thing that I
Don't touch that plate.
did, yes,
Already found
like
that spot.
graphite. Here, I'll have a piece.
Don't touch that plate.
Let's see. So the only thing, if you want to, I can explain sort of. I mean, here. You want somebody? You want another piece? Bert?
Perfect, no thank you.
Okay, you're fine. You want a coffee? Bert. So I'll eat them. So while I do this, I'll eat. I mean, what happened? I was working on Bell Labs on what they call glasses, amorphous substance. In a metal, every atom sits in a specific position.
Okay.
So some are face-centered cubic, which means on the cube, each one is on the middle of the face, other is centered cubic in the middle, etc. They're all sort of crystallographic position.
Okay.
So, on a glass, this, and other things, they don't have the atoms are random.
Okay. They're not
What's
organized.
the difference? This, but not, it doesn't have to be transparent. Silica is a glass. The difference is iron, lead, copper, melt at a fixed temperature within a degree. A glass doesn't. It gets softer and softer, more viscous, It never really melts. Okay? Okay, like taffy. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was working on glasses, which means what we call amorphous. So amorphous meaning that the atoms don't sit. Well, that was my theoretical.
Specialty.
And one day, my neighbor at Bel Air, John Plews, this poor guy,
Not
huge,
Tom Cruise. John Cruise.
huge Canadian. He had serious headaches.
Cereal headaches.
The poor guy.
How he
Like
lived.
migraines.
No comparison.
Yeah.
Serial headache, it's funny that all these people have a chin a bit like this, they're a certain size, they have a certain physical conformity. He says when he got that, he could take a chair and kill somebody.
Wow.
Because
Became that
the
violent.
pain is
So
so
miserable.
terrible.
Wow.
Okay.
Serial headache.
So he
killer.
comes to me and he says, look, he
Get
says,
it.
Jacques,
That's a nightmare.
and he worked with a chemist also, so Murray Robbins. So then he comes to me and he says, Jacques, we got a project. We want to replace gold. That you'll be interested.
That's an idea.
Buy some cheap nickel alloy. Why? You know, on all the terminals, that's your thing, contacts, internet, all these things, all these plugs, the Pentagon in particular, they're gold plated. But the gold thing is 10 to the minus 4 centimeters, it's a 1,000 angstrom.
Yeah.
It's a tenth of a micron, very, very
Small.
skinny. However, when you take all the terminals, and the Pentagon in particular, to fire a missile, it represents 25 tons of gold a year. That's not trivial.
So if you can do it with something cheaper.
And by the way, before they had the gold contact, they went to gold contact. That happened when the Americans attacked Saddam Hussein with the missile.
Yeah.
And the missiles didn't fire on the airplane.
That's not good.
And the ones on ground didn't fire either. Why? Because you see, that's what happens sometimes in a bell here. If something is not used, it oxidizes, makes an oxide, the current doesn't pass. So no juice.
Yeah.
So what do you have to do? Answer a noble metal, gold, because that doesn't oxidize.
Okay.
But all these skin layers cost 25. So we're trying to replace it by a nickel alloy with 5% antimony, phosphorus, etc. And he says, we don't understand how it looks promising, but we don't understand what's going on. I think, okay. So I looked at it and it was funny. I solved the thing in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because here's what happened. When I looked at their nickel with this antimony, and the surface was precisely amorphous. In other words, nickel makes an oxide, Ni2O3, where the atoms sit in fixed positions.
Yeah.
Then it's an insulator. Current doesn't pass. But if you put a bit of 5% antimony, or another one, the atoms are disordered. When they're disordered, it becomes a glass. That was my specialty.
Yeah.
And then the current passes. So it can oxidize all you want. The current will always pass.
Yeah.
Patent.
Done.
We replaced gold.
Hey,
That was the only
Nice.
practical
That's cool.
thing.
Did you tell Dana?
That's cool.
Did you tell Dana what they gave you the Toblerone big thing and the bell
And
last
Jacques,
month?
did they give you?
I can't believe that. I mean, that to me,
Well, that year,
slap in your face.
I tell you what, end of the story. I discovered this in '85,
Yeah.
and that's what it was the divestiture of AT&T, the whole system.
ATT Bell
And everything
Labs.
went to the dogs. They
Yeah.
split the company. In '85, it was the end of fundamental physics. Okay, see right there. It was only applied physics. Okay,
I'm just sore.
terrible. And everybody had to convert and all that. With me, they left me in peace. I was the only one in '85 that got a $2,000 prize, and a raise, and a big chocolate Toblerone
Toblerone bar.
Yes.
Nice.
You're like-
One of the big ones?
by the
Oh,
idiot
God.
president of Penzias.
Yeah.
And a T-shirt saying 4 degrees. That's
You
the
just recently
That's
threw
the
it out.
remnant.
I know.
that's the random temperature of the
sick.
Big Bang.
That was after a patent.
Yeah.
No. It's after my position and all that. So what
For
happened?
retirement.
Yeah.
From '85 to '87, I did nothing. I helped people like
Shlomo.
Schleumann. I did
Shlomo.
something with yeah. You
He
couldn't
gave
do
them his name.
you couldn't do any
of the
fundamental
research.
physics anymore. I
Yeah.
helped Mark Levinson, who was a really remedial physicist. And then I have Schleumann, the guy who bought the
He
house,
was really
Israeli.
remedial.
He had problems with this thing. So I solved him the whole thing. He said, he said, I want you to be a co-author. I said, Schleumann, leave me alone. I need this like a schwir
this
auf dem
stage
Topas.
of life, when
That's in
you-
Yiddish means I need this like an abscess on my ass.
That's a very graphic description. I have to say.
So Schleumann.
It's very.
For 2 years, I tell you what, I read all of philosophy, psychology, etc. And I did nothing until retirement at 80.
That's pretty
when I was
good.
in 87.
That was darn good.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
telling you,
yeah.
it was.
That's what I want to figure out. Yeah, you get paid for just not doing much.
Well,
You
don't
talked
forget,
about that for a long
by
time.
income
huh?
tax law, that was the other thing. One, of course, my nostalgia for France, for the language, for everything, for the food. The law, I know it still exists. When you were 55, I retired with a penalty from the Social Security.
Oh yeah.
5% less, I don't know. Well, okay. Many people, they wait for the end, and the year after they're dead.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
pretty
True.
Very well
very
played.
You got to roll that
Very-
dice.
Yes,
Well,
that's
what
right.
with me, I tell you, they're gonna still play for a very long. So it's already 30 years.
Can you imagine that?
They are bleeding.
How,
Okay.
wait, how young do you have to? You can't even take.
So I tell you what, you could
55.
retire early with a penalty, but you could retire with this thing. And also, most important, you could sell the house.
with
With
no
a cut of
capital gains.
$150,000.
Yeah.
Your primary house, no
capital gain.
No, that's it.
Yeah,
So
you can do
there,
that once.
I really made a lot. I mean,
You can
it was
do?
okay.
You can do it once.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we could do it.
Yeah. That's still the same, 55?
I don't know.
I don't know about the retirement.
It
Yeah.
was 55 for the house.
Oh,
For your
okay.
primary residence.
Yeah, we haven't really looked. I mean,
No, but you should.
yeah.